When you become fully aware of the present moment and let go of your thoughts, you may be surprised to discover how many things you believe to be true are actually just mental constructs. The past and future disappear, as do the distinctions between the observer and the observed, the subject and the object, the experiencer and the experience. These are all concepts that exist only in our minds. By quieting the mind and letting go of these ideas, we can experience an eternal present moment without any expectations or obligations. If we take a break from our thoughts and clear our minds, we can gain a childlike perspective on the world. As Jesus said, this perspective can be useful for adults. Babies can't do much with this perspective because they are limited by their physical abilities and can only practice contemplation. They can't communicate what they experienced of others. However, as adults, we can try to recapture this perspective and understand how babies feel. According to Freud, babies have an oceanic experience where they feel completely connected to everything around them. They can't distinguish between themselves and the universe. If we were to experience this as adults, we might feel scared and question who is in control of what happens next. This is because we are used to thinking of the world in terms of controllers and control, but this is just a myth. By letting go of our preconceived notions and mental constructs, we can free ourselves from the limitations of our own minds and experience the world in a more direct and intuitive way. This can lead to a sense of liberation and a deep connection to the present moment. However, this is easier said than done. Our minds are constantly racing, and it takes effort and practice to quiet the constant chatter and tune into the present moment. One way to cultivate this childlike perspective is through meditation and mindfulness practices. By focusing on the breath and being fully present in the moment, we can quiet our minds and cultivate a sense of calm and clarity. With practice, this can become a natural state of being, and we can learn to approach the world with a childlike sense of wonder and curiosity. Of course, this doesn't mean that we should abandon all of our adult responsibilities and obligations, but by learning to let go of our mental constructs and tune into the present moment, we can approach these responsibilities with a greater sense of clarity and purpose. We can learn to live more fully and authentically and cultivate a deep sense of connection to the world around us. Many spiritual teachers claim to have realized their divine nature and will often declare to their disciples, "I am God." However, it is important to understand that their realization does not affect our own. One could easily put on a turban and robe, claim to be a guru, and sell people their own watch. The truth is that you already are divine, and this statement holds significant meaning, although it is difficult to define further with words. Philosophers often hear such statements and are quick to ask, "What do you mean by that?" Because they are more interested in continuing their word games than experiencing the truth. They fail to see that these statements are ultimate and cannot be expressed with words because they transcend language. Words only have meaning because they are symbols that represent something else. Stars, trees, and mountains have no meaning in and of themselves. Music, on the other hand, does not need a meaning to be beautiful. Only bad music has meaning, while classical music can be appreciated by simply observing its patterns and complexity. To truly understand the divine nature of all things, one must go beyond words and concepts and simply experience the present moment without expectations or obligations. Only then can one fully realize the truth that you are it. At this point, one may wonder what lies beyond the limitations of language and intellect. It is the realm of direct experience, the experiential dimension that is inaccessible to the grasping mind. One can only come to know the divine by surrendering the intellect and opening oneself up to the ineffable. Many spiritual traditions offer practices that help in this process of surrender and openness. Some involve prayer, others meditation, and others selfless service. Regardless of the method, they all share a common goal of quieting the mind and letting go of the ego. As one continues on the spiritual path, one may encounter moments of profound insight and realization. These moments may not be permanent, but they can provide glimpses into the nature of reality that transcend the limitations of language and intellect. These glimpses are like windows into the divine, and they can inspire and motivate us on our journey towards greater understanding and realization. In the end, the quest for spiritual realization is not about acquiring more knowledge or accumulating more experiences. It is about letting go of all that we think we know and opening ourselves up to the mystery and wonder of life. It is about discovering the divine within ourselves and all that exists, and it is about living in a way that honors and expresses the divine essence in every moment of our lives. So where are you now? Of course, you are still yourself. You always have been. However, realizing that you are the essence of existence is uncomfortable because it cannot be grasped. I have come to the realization that whatever I am, it is not just within my mind, but it is also outside of me. Yet, no matter what it is, I cannot obtain it. This realization can cause feelings of anxiety, unease, and trauma. Shankara, the great Hindu commentator on the Upanishads, who was a master of the non-dualistic doctrine of the universe, explained this feeling. He said, "That which knows, which is in all beings, the knower, is never an object of its own knowledge." Therefore, anyone who is seeking the ultimate experience, the vision of God, or liberation can be easily persuaded by any guru who claims to have a method to obtain it. It may not necessarily be a bad thing. As William Blake stated, "A fool who persists in his folly will become wise, and a wise guru can lead you on." Realizing that you are divine is not an easy concept to understand because it cannot be fully explained in words. It is similar to trying to explain the meaning of classical music. It requires observation and appreciation of its patterns and complexity. Through studying philosophy with a skilled teacher, one can achieve intellectual vertigo, where they feel there is no ground beneath them and no cover above them. This realization that there are limitations to knowledge can be scary, but it is an essential part of spiritual growth. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you'd like to explore any specific aspect further.